Hello, hello! Welcome to yet another one of these videos, coming out a lot sooner this time in comparison to the gap between the last couple videos, I guess, because, lo and behold, these are kinda fun to make, so I'm probably gonna do a whole lot more of these now. Maybe I will, I don't know, I guess I can't really know, but, I feel like doing a whole lot more of these now, so at least for the time being, you can expect that, I think. But you see, this time, it's gonna be a little different. Because, the past couple drawings, they're a bit more nice, more, cute looking, more, pleasant. But not today, no. Today, we're getting dark, and evil, and sick, and twisted, and all that stuff. Because we're drawing Dark Sakura today. And I would say this drawing is, I guess the most notable thing about it is the fact that I end up later on kind of, instead of the sort of soft shading I've been doing lately, I kind of do some more like very, very simplistic kind of cell shading. Because that's actually what I normally preferred doing before I went for soft shading. Like I find, even to this day, I find cell shading far more comfortable. But I've been trying to kind of break out of that because I feel like the soft shading kind of gives things a little more like, a little more nuance, a little more texture, that kind of thing. But, for a more kind of I don't know what the word would be, dynamic? I don't know. A drawing like this, I feel like cell shading would kind of sell it decently well, maybe because it looks more dramatic, I don't know. Maybe I could have gone a lot harder with the detail and stuff on this particular image in general, but I didn't really go into this expecting this to be a particularly detailed kind of image or anything, because, I don't know, one thing I guess I've kind of been forgetting some lately that I've been kind of remembering again lately is that I feel like sometimes I kind of get into this, like, mode where I think every single little drawing has to, like, push me further and further forward in some way, and, like, I mean, I do believe in general that it's important to try and like kind of push yourself in the sense that like you want to be moving forward, you want to kind of try things you're normally not good at and try and kind of expand your skill set just if nothing else for the sake of breaking up the monotony, but at the same time, if there's no monotony to break and everything constantly feels like a challenge, I feel like it kind of burns me out sometimes. And I think that's part of why I kind of went for, like, a relatively simple image and ultimately end up going with, like, really simple cell shading. I don't even bother with, like, multiple tones of cell shading or anything all that much either, just because, like, I don't know, I just wanted something that felt a little more, comfortable, I guess, this time around. Because, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of, at peace with the idea that, like, not every single little image I'm gonna make is necessarily gonna be like something that's really, really pushing my boundaries further or something. Like sometimes I kind of just want to draw something that's like I don't know, that feels like relatively not too difficult. Although I end up kind of having a little bit of difficulty in the beginning because I think mainly with the hand positions, I found them kind of, like, hard to draw. They probably, like, I don't know, if you're watching the footage, they probably looked, like, a little wonky at first. Because, I don't know. Hand positions like that are just tricky. I don't know. I'm still not super good at them. The footage kind of, like, starts and stops probably a little bit to some extent, because, like, sometimes in order to get, like, the hand positions and other stuff right, I'd literally be, like, standing up and like because I have like a mirror on my closet, so I just like look at the closet mirror sometimes and like do whatever pose I'm trying to draw if I'm really struggling with it. It probably shouldn't have been such a struggle because like it's such a simple pose, but I don't know. It can be kind of deceiving in that way sometimes, like I don't know. Things that shouldn't be challenging, sometimes I just don't have it that day and I just can't do shit. I don't know. But honestly, after I got that down, everything else was like relatively straightforward, I think. It wasn't really too bad. Line work is generally always the easiest part of the process for me, as far as that goes. Like, I still don't consider myself super great at line work, primarily because, and you can probably see in the footage, I tend to not have the best control. I tend to kind of, like, draw lines over and over and kind of use Control Z over and over again, because I don't really get them right the first time all that often. I've been trying to actually actively reduce that more and more and kind of get better line control, and I've even reduced the, because I used to use the stabilization feature in my art software, which, I guess for those who don't know what that is, basically, it's a feature where even if your hands are kind of relatively shaky, when you're drawing with your pen in the art software, it'll kind of like smooth out the strokes for you to kind of like essentially digitally compensate for the shakiness. It's primarily useful if you have like a really, really crummy tablet, or maybe you have some kind of a medical condition or something along those lines. But if over relied on, it can maybe be a bit of a crutch sometimes. So I've been trying to kind of, I guess I ended up challenging myself a little without even realizing it, because I did draw this with reduced stabilization. I use barely any now. I tried using absolutely none at all, but no matter what I did, even when I drew lines really, really fast, they still looked kind of rough for whatever reason. I don't know if it's an issue with my tablet, or perhaps it's an issue with Clip Studio, because I tried in other software, and it didn't have as much of an issue as Clip Studio did for whatever reason, so it could be a Clip Studio specific problem, honestly, I don't know. But shading was by far the easiest part of the process for this particular image, because, I mean, again, I didn't really do a whole lot of crazy things with it, because I didn't really feel like I needed to. Because, I don't know, sometimes less can be more, you know? I kind of get into this trap sometimes of, like, always feeling the need to add more things sometimes. Like, even when I didn't have a background in mind for a picture, sometimes I'll draw, like, a really, really complicated background, because I don't want to be lazy and draw no background or something like that. But, you know, sometimes you just don't need one, you know? Sometimes all you really need to do is just as much as you need to do, you know? And that's not necessarily taking away from the image. It's just like, sometimes you just don't really need to do more to get a point across, you know? Sometimes less is more. And, you know, sometimes, you know, if a background could really add to the context, like, you know, I'll try to go for one. But if I don't necessarily feel like I need a background, I don't necessarily have one in mind, like, I'm not always going to force myself to draw one, because, you know, it's, I don't know. If I don't have one in mind and I don't really feel like forcing one is really adding anything, then you know, why bother with the extra effort, you know? So I guess if there's a sort of a theme from today, it's that, sometimes it's okay to kind of, be in a relative comfort zone to some extent. Like, I'm not going to deny the importance of, pushing yourself at least a little bit in some ways, because that's also important, because, you know, if you never ever do that, you're never gonna grow. But at the same time, it's also okay sometimes to just do something you're really familiar with and really comfortable with, because it feels nice in a given moment to do that. Like, when I was shading this image, it felt really nice, because, you know, cell shading is generally what I preferred doing most of the time anyway, so, it just felt really nice to not have to, you know, think about all the challenges pertaining to soft shading, which, is still a big challenge for me. I've been, really, really trying to improve at, like, doing more soft, more painterly sort of shading, but it's really been pretty rough. So, I guess, you know, to decompress a little from that and kind of, get back to something a little more comfortable, you know, it was nice to kind of just be able to do something a little simpler and a little more in line with, you know, what I was already able to do. Because, you know, sometimes drawing doesn't have to be a big thing to push yourself. I don't know, sometimes it can just be you just kind of crapping out something for fun, you know? I guess, honestly, all three videos I've made so far kind of, all sort of more or less relate to the general theme that, like, I think for personally made art, the most important thing is that you're enjoying whatever you're doing, I think. Because if you're not doing that, then, like, at that point, it kind of just feels like a job you're not getting paid for, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, you know, what the hell's the point of it anymore, you know? So I don't know. if you're an artist and you feel like you're kind of burnt out because everything feels so challenging sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes just draw something really, really simple and really, really piss easy. Because I don't know, sometimes it's just fun to do that. I don't know, it doesn't always have to be a big self-improvement thing. Sometimes it can just be fun. But, yeah, I don't have much else to say for this particular video. A bit of a simpler sort of video, I guess. I don't know. Hope you, got something from this. Hope you enjoyed. And hope you like this little drawing. I don't know how much I necessarily like it. I think it's okay. Wouldn't necessarily call it, like, my favorite thing I've ever made, but, I don't know. It looks alright, I don't hate it. But let me know if you like it or not in the comments, I guess. Goodbye!